Welcome to UPLEVEL, Real Health, Real Talk with Dr. Jenna Blasi. I'm Dr. Jenna. I spent years crafting ways to help women thrive, and I want to help you do the same. On this podcast, we dive deep into health at every level, focusing on the mind, the body, and the spirit. This is where real conversations meet transformational wellness. We'll be talking about all the things that truly matter, from nutrition and fitness to lifestyle, mindset, and personal development. Plus, the real deal on managing stress and navigating menopause. So if you're ready to elevate your health journey with authentic, transformative insights, you're in the right place. Let's get started. Hello, and welcome back to UPLEVEL, Real Health, Real Talk with Dr. Jenna. Today, we're going to talk about the success formula. And the cool thing with the success formula is that we can apply it to anything we want in our lives, our relationships, business, finances, health, etc. And I want to break that down. I intend for today to feel very different. The last few episodes, we've talked about hormone therapy and thyroid and various health conditions. I want to get back to the mindset piece and the formula for success in any of these areas, because you can collect information about hormone therapy, but let's face it, you could be on hormone therapy, or maybe you finally get your thyroid addressed. But if you're not living in alignment with your purpose, if you're not living your best life, those things will have a limited impact. They might have a great impact, but still limited if you're not happy in your business, not happy in your life, not happy in your relationships, etc. So I want you to imagine like a fireside chat, if you will, that we're together, just you and me, and I am talking directly to you. I am speaking into your soul. Like, let's get your head out of it and just really hear with the deepest part of your being, because I want to dive deep into the formula for success, not surface level, like morning routines and productivity hacks, which are all great, but really, what are the characteristics of someone who's successful? Do most have a morning routine? Sure. Do most have productivity hacks? Probably. But deeper than that is how they think. Deeper than that are the traits that they all embody. And this is really a way of being that creates real, lasting, and soul-aligned success. Soul-aligned success. Because we're going to get into, like, what is the definition of success? Because if it's success that's not aligned with your soul, I would argue that that's not really success. So I have pulled from some of the greatest personal development minds out there and mentors whom I've studied with, books that I've read. I mean, Napoleon Hill, Bob Proctor, Jim Rohn, so many others. But I'm giving it to you in my voice, in my lens, and from what I've seen over and over in my own life, with high achievers, with members in my practice, with clients, and in people who truly thrive. I love studying successful people, for example, because the character traits, there's a theme along them. There's a success formula that everybody who has reached a very successful level in their desired area shares this. And so if you've been feeling stuck, like there's more for you, but you're not sure how to access it, you're not sure what it is, this is your wake-up call. Because as I say in my webinars, like, gathering all the information is useless without implementation, without action. And the success formula is about who we are and who we're becoming. And so Jim Rohn has a quote: success is something you attract by the person you become. It's not out there. It's already within you. So let's redefine success. All right. It's not a destination. Many of us think it's a destination. Like, I've arrived at this place and now I'm successful. It's actually who we become along the way. Now, society might define success as money and fame, titles, how many followers you have. Maybe you've been told this, but let's challenge that, because real success is about becoming. It's about waking up every day and knowing you're living in alignment with your soul's purpose, with who you're meant to be. You're living your best life. And it's about having a vision for your life and having the courage to pursue it. There are all types of people out there with those quote unquote success markers, right? And they're miserable and they're discontented. I have seen people living quietly but powerfully with joy, with peace, with purpose, because they're living from within. They're living from the inside out. Now, Earl Nightingale and subsequently Bob Proctor define success as the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. So listen to that. Success, according to them, because Bob said he searched for years for a better definition, and that was the best definition, a progressive realization of a worthy ideal. So this really implies that success is not about reaching a destination. It's a process. It's a process of moving towards something that you deeply desire. For example, let's say you want to get fit and you have this idea of your ideal body and when you'd feel good in your body. That's great, but own it now. Feel good where you are now and develop those habits. Let's say you start working out regularly, celebrate those wins along the way, celebrate the discipline and the consistency to get to that end goal, because it's who you're becoming in establishing those disciplines, in getting stronger, in showing up for yourself in integrity, meaning in alignment. When we say we're going to do something, we do it. So this idea of success is about continually growing and evolving as we pursue our goals. So what I've done today is kind of distilled it down to the 4 pillars. You've heard me talk about the 4 pillars of health. So let's talk about the 4 pillars of success. Because when you get these pillars in place, success isn't just possible, it's actually inevitable. Now, hear what I just said. It is inevitable. So if you have an old story about who you can or can't be, you got to let that go, because you get to create who you are. You get to create who you become. You get to create your story. So first pillar, vision. Vision. We have to know what we want and see beyond our present circumstances, right? We don't need to know how. Hear me on this. You don't need to know how you're going to get there. You just need to know why. If someone's child is sick, they're going to go to the end of the earth to find a solution for them, or maybe for yourself if you're sick. But we're more likely to do this for our kids. I've seen people do it for their pets, and nothing's stopping us. We don't know how. But we know nothing is stopping us. We have a vision of our healthy child, just for example. And I think I might do a separate podcast on growth mindset versus fixed mindset. But this is where our growth mindset is an understanding that our abilities, an understanding and a belief, I would add, a belief that our abilities can expand through effort, through learning. This is why I love working with mentors. They help push us. They help stretch us. They help expand us. So how often have you caught yourself saying, I would like to do this or that, but I can't because XYZ, or I will do X when these things line up. So whatever follows the because or precedes it, when I have X, I will do Z. That's the circumstance. And the truly successful people, I think it was Napoleon who said, I create the circumstances. I create the circumstances. When the circumstances aren't there, I create them. So circumstances can cause a detour in your life, but you should never permit them to stop you from making important decisions. So Bob Proctor used to talk about that. He said once, I made a decision a long time ago that I would not participate in discussions of why something can't be done. Because if you want to have a discussion, this is me talking now, if you want to have a discussion about why something can't be done, there'll be tons of reasons. And if you want to have a discussion about why it can be done, you'll start seeing that. We see the world through our filter, right? My favorite quote, Henry Ford, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. And so Bob said, by making a simple decision, you can literally turn your wildest dreams into a reality. But we have to decide. We have to decide that something is worth it. Like I just use kids a lot as an example, because we make a decision like, no, I'm going to get my kid the help they need or do what I need to do. So when you make a decision, it gets you up on that higher frequency. When you decide you're really going after something, I want to go to France. And if you're just like waiting for everything to align before that happens, your life will pass you by. But if you make a decision, I'm going to France, I'm going to earn the money, I'm going to do what I need to do, I'm going, you get up on the frequency of the goal, you get up on that higher frequency. The second you make the decision, everything starts to happen. And so we have to believe that we can. And we have to see it before we can step into it. Again, that's the thing with a vision. Like if we're going on a trip, you buy the tickets to the destination or you put the coordinates into your GPS. We have to know where we want to go. Now we put the coordinates into the GPS or we buy a plane ticket. We may not know exactly, what the pilot knows to get us there or the steps that the GPS is showing us. We don't know how, but we know what we want. We know why we want it. So the vision lights the fire. The vision is your why. It's your why. It's your ikigai, as they say in Japanese. It's what gets you out of bed in the morning. Well, that's more your purpose. But our why and our purpose are very linked. So from a growth mindset lens, your vision should not be limited. Not only does it need to be, but should not be limited by what's currently in your world. Because the present results only reflect the past. What's currently in your circumstances they're the past. They're what we've attracted. They're the frequency we've been on. Misery loves company, right? When we're on a certain frequency, we attract more of that. And if we believe that's all that we can have be or do, that is all we will continue to attract. Versus when we believe in something greater than our circumstances, when we believe in ourselves, which is pillar number 2, belief. When we believe in the vision and why we want it, that strong why keeps us going. That strong why keeps us going, and we grow into the person we need to become to get there. And the steps begin to be revealed. Steve Jobs said you can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking back. So, he had a why. He had a vision. He did not know how that was going to happen. He had tons of setbacks and challenges. And then moving forward, he can look back and realize kind of how he got there. Okay, so pillar number 2 is belief. And this is really, it starts with the vision, but the vision has to be backed by belief. If you don't believe it's possible, you're not even going to try. And belief will often even prevent you from the vision. If you haven't done a vision before, go back and listen to my podcast on vision or do some various visioning exercises. And what I find when I give people this exercise is we tend to hold ourselves back with the vision by what we believe is possible. So it really starts with belief, right? People that created amazing things had a belief in something bigger and better than where they were at. And it's often has no evidence in our current situation or our past. So this is really where it starts, even though vision and why are number 1, because, like I said, we won't start if we don't believe it. And so belief is not something you wait to feel. Again, I'll believe it when I see it. That's a big one, right? I'll believe it when I see it. That's not how it actually works. You believe it, and then you'll actually see it. And so we get to choose to step into belief. Don't wait for it to show up. Oh, again, that same idea. When X happens, then I'll believe. No, like when we get married, typically we believe in that marriage. Do we have all the proof that it's going to work? No, but we have a belief. And so even when there's no evidence yet, we are choosing to believe. And I would say, especially when there's no evidence, that's true belief, right? Faith is believing in something that we can't see. So is fear. Which do you want to choose, faith or fear? They're both invisible. One feels good. Faith feels pretty good. Fear, not so good, and holds us back. If we let our lives be dictated by our fear, we're stuck. Somebody said recently, and I can't remember who it was, it might have been Ed Milet or someone said, if you choose, I don't think that's who it was. So apologies. I don't remember where I heard this. If you choose to let fear dictate your life, you'll never go beyond where you're at. You'll never go beyond where you're at. And same idea of Henry Ford, right? Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And so I've worked with so many people to help them create quantum leaps, and they make those quantum leaps, not because they're the best, not because they're the most talented, not because they have the most resources, but because they believed, they bet on themselves, and it became non-negotiable. Their vision became non-negotiable. So again, when you believe in the impossible, everything becomes possible. But when we don't have a strong why, or we're looking at all the reasons we can't, we're stopping ourselves before we even get going. And so belief can really be the tipping point, because when it becomes non-negotiable, we become unavailable for anything less. Isn't that beautiful? Wouldn't you like to be unavailable for anything less than your dreams? I love that. And so there's so many stories I have with clients, with patients, with myself, I was trying to conceive my daughter in my 40s, and I thought I had 20-year-old eggs. I was like, oh, I'm so healthy. My eggs are of the, that of a 20-year-old. It turns out they were not. In fact, when I finally went and got a proper assessment, the doctor was like, your eggs are actually older than you are. I think I was like 41, and he's like, you have like 44, 45-year-old eggs. And so, but I just had this belief. I had a desire. I had a vision of having more than one child. If I'm being totally honest, I had a vision of having a girl. I would have been happy with a boy, but I already had a boy. I had a vision of having a boy and a girl and having two kids. And I felt this ache in my heart when I would see larger families. And I just had a belief. I felt her soul. I believed I was supposed to have another child. But guess what? I had 3 miscarriages. 3. So the evidence was not in my favor. I was creeping up in my 40s. I had a doctor who told me I had 1 in 16 good eggs. I got pregnant, miscarried, pregnant, miscarried, pregnant, miscarried. Like all of the evidence was pointing towards, hey, girl, this isn't happening for you. And I was like, no, I feel this. I believe this. These are just challenges that are giving me opportunities to look at things differently. That's a growth mindset, right? These are just challenges that are offering me an opportunity to see what is possible. And I could give you the same story with my business, but I'm going to stop there because that brings me to the third pillar, which is resilience, right? I had to be resilient through 3 miscarriages. One was very physically taxing. The others happened early enough that there was not a physical toll, but there could have been a huge emotional toll if I wasn't in the space resilience-wise and mindset-wise that I was. So step 3 is bringing together resilience, persistence, and discipline. Now, as a side note, this is where I encourage a strategy, right? Working with mentors, working with people who've been there, who've taken hundreds and thousands of people to where you want to go that can help you build up that resilience, help you with persistence, help you with discipline. Because this is a very common thing I hear from people. Oh, I don't have any discipline. Oh, I got X amount of success and then I stopped doing the thing. I couldn't maintain it. I couldn't sustain it. But this is the glue. Resilience, persistence, discipline. This is the glue. So vision and belief gets us started, right? Vision and belief will get you started. But you can't just sit on your couch all day, right? You can't sit on your couch all day eating bonbons and think that your vision is just going to magically, and your belief is just going to magically make all your dreams come true. We have to actually take action, right? So these are the things, the resilience, the persistence, the discipline that keep us going. They're what you fall back on when your motivation fades. Everyone says, oh, I'm not motivated. Motivation is not a constant. It's not a constant in my life. I frequently push myself to exercise. I'm not motivated to, but I'm disciplined to, because that strong why, that strong vision, right? I want to be healthy. I want to be fit. I know it helps my mood, etc. That gives me the persistence when I don't want to, the discipline, the commitment. Okay. So let's actually distinguish. I looked it up because I'm like, resistance and persistence are not the same thing, but I wasn't really sure how to describe their differences. So I looked it up. So resilience is the ability to adapt and recover from adversity, right? We get knocked down. It's the ability to kind of bounce back, to get back up. And persistence is the ability to continue despite obstacles. So for example, when I had my miscarriage, it was being able to adapt and recover and not go into a fatalistic view of, oh my gosh, this is never meant to be. I'm not going to have, I miscarried. I'm not going to have a baby. I'm never going to get this second child. And persistence was continuing to try and doing, I tried gaining weight. I tried losing weight. I was taking supplements. I was persisting despite the obstacles and doing whatever I thought might work to help me get and keep a pregnancy. So resilience focuses on bouncing back from setbacks, adapting to change, whereas persistence, there's an emphasis on keeping at a task until success is achieved, right? Progressive realization of a goal. We have to persist through obstacles, through challenges. So these are both essential for achieving our goals, overcoming challenges, but they address different aspects of navigating difficult situations. And discipline, Bob Proctor used to say, discipline is the ability to give yourself a command and follow it. Discipline, I would also add, is being in integrity with ourselves. Like if someone says, I want to release weight and I'm going to exercise 3 times a week, and then they eat potato chips all day, and on the days they've designated to exercise, they talk themselves out of it. They're out of alignment and they're out of integrity. They're not following that higher vision. They're not staying in integrity with what they said they wanted, which either means they don't want it badly enough, or they just haven't really made the decision, this is happening no matter what. I'm not going to give in to the past. I'm not going to renegotiate and talk myself in or out of. I'm going to stay in alignment. And we are very hard on ourselves. I mean, the thing is, the price we pay when we don't do what we said we were going to do, when we don't stay in alignment, we're very hard on ourselves. We beat ourselves up. I encourage you not to do that, but just keep establishing those disciplines that help you stay in integrity, because that's what builds confidence. It builds belief in yourself. It helps you with resilience and persistence, because you can start to count on yourself instead of feeling like, oh, I'm going to give up. And so when your why is strong enough, just like with our kids, we're not giving up. And I've seen this with spouses and partners too. Like the wife or the husband or the spouse or whomever would do whatever for their partner. Nothing would stop them, but they won't do it for themselves. And really, we have to be in integrity with ourselves to really be in integrity with anybody else. And so again, when you hit those obstacles, this is where that fixed versus growth mindset comes up. A fixed mindset says, I failed, so I must not be cut out for this. I failed, so I'm never going to achieve this. I failed, so this must mean I can't do this. Or in my example, oh, I've had all these miscarriages, so I guess this is not going to happen. Whereas a growth mindset says that didn't work. So what can I learn? What can I try next? And they use it as fuel for growth. Bob always used to say, the bigger the obstacle, the bigger the opportunity on the other side. Small obstacles, small challenges, small growth or achievements on the other side. And so Winston Churchill said, success is not final, right? It's a progressive thing, and failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. It is the courage to continue. That's persistence. That's resilience. The real game changer is that consistency through the setbacks. So when you have a strong why, when you have unshakable belief in yourself, then you're going to be resilient, because you're going to understand that everything's happening for you, not to you. It's not the goal, the vision. It's not about what we get. It's about who we become. It's about how we grow in the process. And so then we get disciplined, because it matters that much to us to be healthy, or to create a successful business, or to be in positive, loving relationships, or whatever it is. When you make a decision, I'm going to set a standard for higher level of income, or a better level of health, or a higher level of relationships, then we start to say no to the things that are below that. Instead of bringing our standards down to the current circumstances, we start to create and bring ourselves and our circumstances up to how we want to live and what we want to achieve. And so looking at that original definition of success, that means that even as we're working towards a goal, we're considered successful. Again, like I said, if you're getting up, if you want to be fit and you're getting up every day and moving your body, if you're making healthy choices, not perfection, let's say 80% of the time, maybe before you made healthy choices 20% and 80% was like out of alignment with what you wanted. So you flip that, and 80% of the time you're making healthy choices and you're committing to moving your body, you are making progress, even if you don't see it on the outside yet. Even if you don't see it, and that is successful. When we start enjoying the journey, when we start enjoying and embracing the process of becoming the person that we want to be, that is the win. That is part of the success. I consider that success. And success is different for everybody, but when you can embrace the journey as part of the success, just like, on a road trip, if you're miserable the whole car ride or the whole plane ride, it's not as a great a vacation if you can embrace the whole process, the process of getting there, the process of even planning it. It's a bigger win. And so it is about the journey and that continued effort, not just the destination. Remember, the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. The worthy ideal is your purpose, which, like, our spiritual DNA is perfect. So it's not a matter of, are we worthy of our purpose or of our goal, but is our goal worthy of us? If you really look at that, we are infinite beings, there's infinite supply, we are spiritually perfect, then our goals and our vision should be in alignment with that highest self. And then we can be in the flow of the journey and not just the destination, which brings me to number 4 is alignment and authenticity. You can have those first three, but if you're chasing someone else's vision of success, you're not in alignment and it's not going to satisfy you. Are you living out what your parents wanted for you? Are you living out what your family wants for you? Are you living out what you think your role is or what you think you should do? Alignment means you're moving in a direction that feels true. Your values, your energy, your decisions, they all match. And that's when we find flow, right? We've all been in the flow at some point in life. We're in the flow when we're in trust, when we're in surrender, when we're in alignment, when our thoughts, our feelings, and our actions align, when our values, our energy, and our decisions align. So you can say like our values, that we could express that in our thoughts. And when I say energy, that's our vibration, right? And then our decisions are part of the action that we take. And then when they're all in alignment, that's when we're in the flow. And you don't have to force things because you're being real with yourself. If you are not aligned, your success is going to lead to burnout. If you're just grinding and you don't even believe in what you're doing or you don't really have a strong why behind it, then the success without that alignment is burnout. So being with integrity with your values, listening to your inner guidance. And what I would add to this fourth pillar is this is the long game. You know, if we look at all these, the success formula, that number one, that vision and having a strong why, having belief in yourself, resilience, persistence, and discipline. And again, working with mentors, working with folks who have a strategy, like with health, like with my wellness programs, we have a strategy for helping people release weight and lower eliminate joint pain and lower inflammation and improve their energy and improve their sleep and feel great in their bodies and all of these things. But this is why I've added mindset into our programs, because most people could follow a nutrition plan or follow an exercise plan for a period of time. But if we don't address the underlying alignment, and the elimination of the self-saboteur, the self-limiting beliefs. This is where mentors can really help us go that next level, help us see our blind spots and stretch us, because this is the long game. This is not about quick success. This is a long game. It's not about the destination. Remember, so as you progress in your fitness, in your wealth, in your relationships, love, whatever, peace of mind, there's always a deeper level that we can go. And that is the continuous evolution of our growth, which is our soul is for expansion and greater expression and growth and alignment. And so playing the long game is key. That's why the quick fixes don't work. Or so many of the people that come to us, they've lost weight and gained weight and lost weight and gained weight. And I'm like, okay, let's make this the time when you release the weight. Okay, we say release because lost, the subconscious will go find it again. And it's gone. We're not going looking for it again because we've addressed the inner demons, the saboteur, the mindset, the limited beliefs, the fixed mindset that always bring us back to where we don't want to be, instead of having a permanent change on the path of our goals, on the path of our dreams. Okay, so that's the formula. So let's look at applying this, right? Vision, belief, persistence, alignment. Now you've got a success formula that's soul aligned. Now you've got a success formula that's going to light you up, that you're living your best life. So say you want to start your own business or step into a new health goal. Vision gives you that picture. And keep working on it and getting clearer and expanding upon it as you bust through various limiting beliefs. Expand on that vision. Belief is going to tell you it's possible. And it's great. Like, that's the other value of mentors, is like they're going to believe in you too, because they've watched so many people do it. And if one person, if they're good at what they do, and so if one person can do it, that's why I tell people, like, if one person can do it, you can do it too. You just need the strategy. You need the support. You need the plan. And then we need to believe. Now, we may not believe initially, but we can work on that belief. So work with people that believe in you. Surround yourself in your life with people that believe in you and lift you up. And resilience is going to keep you going when it gets hard. That you so believe in yourself and that vision and what you want and this better life, that when it gets hard, you're just jumping over those obstacles. You're jumping over. And alignment ensures you're doing it your way. Your way. This is why I'm big on intuition. Even with the people that work with us, we're giving them this amazing plan. We're telling them like the framework of what a healthy diet looks like, but the individual within that, we have to find what works better for them. What works better for them, both in terms of enjoyment, in terms of sustainability, in terms of effectiveness, etc. And so we have that picture, we believe in it, and we are resilient and persistent. And the alignment piece is finding what works for us and trusting ourselves. And we're not coming from comparison. We're not coming from fear. We're coming from alignment with our deeper self. And I did a podcast on intuition, and I want to remind you, fear. My colleague Dave Conway just said this in one of his podcasts. He said that fear often is disguised as intuition. And remember, when in my intuition podcast, I talked about that intuition feels good. It moves us towards something. It moves us towards expansion. But fear is typically contracting. It's moving us away from something. And it will be, we may think, oh, I can't do this. It's my intuition saying no, but it's really our fear of the price we're going to have to pay. And I don't mean just financial investment. I mean effort, sacrificing, the foods we love, or the early morning because we're getting up to meditate or to exercise or whatever it is. Fear will keep us stuck. We all have fear, but are you going to move forward with that fear or let it keep you where you are? So don't confuse fear with intuition. Intuition is typically like, yeah, let's do this. You can do this. And then the fear comes in and it turns into anxiety in the body. And it's like, I don't know. I don't have the time. I don't have the money. I've failed all the times in the past. I'm going to fail again. That whole negative loop. But if we're not happy with where we are, we've got to take that plunge forward towards expansion, towards the life we want to live. And the best part about all of this is that these traits, these amazing traits of elite athletes and musicians and successful people, they're within you. They are within you, these successful traits. Now, they may be muscles that have atrophied. They might be muscles, your persistence muscle, maybe you haven't been using, but it's there. So they're muscles you can build. They're muscles that you will build once you decide. It all starts with a decision, right? Like Bob said, it starts with a decision and then magic starts to happen because the universe responds to speed, it responds to commitment, and it responds to decision. You're like, this is what's happening. I have no idea how, but this is what's happening. And the universe is like, God is like, hey, great. Let me start to work with you on this, meeting you. What you seek is seeking you. What you want wants you back. My spiritual teacher, he used to say, you take one step towards me and I take 1,000 steps towards you, or something like that. And so we are magnets. So move towards the life you want, move towards your vision, believe it's possible, and watch it come to you. So these are accessible right now with a decision. All right. My mentor recently said, you are one decision away from the life you want to live. Right? We are one decision away from living our best life, from thriving. These character traits are not reserved for the elite, and they're definitely not about being quote unquote lucky, right? We create success from who we become. If you want to be confident, embody confidence now. Embody success now and watch you draw it to yourself, right? Watch you draw it to yourself. That was a quote I read earlier. Success is something you attract by the person you become. All right, so to close, and we're going just a little bit longer today, I want you to remember, you are ready now. You don't need to have all the answers, and you absolutely don't wait until you feel ready. All right, this is a final spark. I'm hoping to light a fire under your butts. Like, I don't have to live in survival anymore. I don't have to live in subpar all the things. I don't make as much money as I want. I don't enjoy my career like I want. I'm not in relationships that I want. I'm not joyful. We should be joyful every day. Like, what are we here for? So you don't have to have all the answers. I do encourage you, seek out the right mentors, seek out the right strategy, but everything is within you. And if you don't do the inner work, all of the strategies in the world will be short-lived. A morning routine is not going to bring you success without the inner work that makes the morning routine work. And we do not wait until we're ready. In fact, the biggest growth happens when we jump in before we feel ready. So you are ready, all right? We don't need perfection. The world doesn't need more perfection. It needs more people like you willing to show up as they are with fire in their belly and purpose in their hearts. That's why I started this podcast before I was ready. I was like, I'm not ready. Who the hell wants to listen to me? Well, I'm just going for it because I feel like I have information that at least one person out there, could use. And if one person's life is changed, that's impact. And if my family's life is changed, that's impact, right? How we show up every day impacts everything around us and ourselves. And so do it before you're ready. Trust, take that leap. Who's ever ready to like jump out of a plane? I mean, maybe some fearless people, but there's that like standing on the edge going, oh my gosh. And then you jump. So here's some like prompts. And I say this with other pillars too. When I do the pillars of health, it's like, just pick one. Look through these pillars and look at where you maybe could activate this formula in your life. So for example, for number one, what's the vision that kind of keeps popping into your mind? And it actually won't leave you alone. You keep suppressing it, but it keeps popping into your mind. I used to have visions of speaking to large, massive crowds, and I just suppressed it. I was like, oh no, that's just my ego. No, that's not. I'm just going to live my quiet little spiritual life. And then I realized I do have a purpose here to impact positively as many people as I can. I want to leave everybody better off. People used to call my office when I might have said this on a previous podcast, when I was answering my own phones. And if I didn't think they were the right fit for me and I was referring them elsewhere, I still wanted to make their day better for having called in. I wanted to give them something that made their lives better. So what is the vision that won't leave you alone, that keeps gnawing? And you're maybe talking yourself out of all the reasons, talking yourself out of it, coming up with all the reasons why you can't, rather than how about trust that vision and focus on all the reasons why you can. So this is number two. Where do you need to build belief? Where in your life do you need to build belief? Do you believe it's just your lot in life to have crappy relationships? Do you think it's your lot in life to do a job that's not fulfilling? I would challenge any area where you feel like you're settling, that is not what God, what spirit, what the universe wants for you. So where do you need to build belief? Number three, what challenge are you being called to persist through? Persist through, not give up. Do you give up at the first sign of adversity? Do you give up at the first sign of adversity, or does that just make you stronger? You're like, I got this. I'm doing this. We were at this Easter festival in Sedona a couple of weeks ago, and my daughter she was doing this ninja course, and she's 8, and there was this big ramp, and she looked too small to me to be able to do it. And she ran up, and she was like nowhere even close to grabbing onto the only hold that there was, where then you would hoist yourself to the top, kind of like if you've ever seen Ninja Warrior, right? That ramp at the end that they have to run up and jump and grab. And so she missed it the first time. And when she was younger, she would get very discouraged. I can't do it. And maybe she wouldn't persist. But now it's like she's got this belief in herself that I hope I've helped cultivate in her. And so the next time, I thought, gosh, how many obstacles, right, of not making it before she maybe doesn't persist. But I think she just believed in herself. And she was like, okay, this is a challenge that I'm going to persist through. And the next time she nailed it and got to the top. And then she wanted to do it again. and I was like, great, I hope, and it was just easy. Boom, boom, boom. She kept doing it. So what challenge are you being called to persist through? Not give up on, not tell yourself, oh, it's not meant for me. I can't do this. But actually persist through, like learning to walk. Imagine if kids, every time they fell down, they were like, that's it. I'm clearly not meant to walk. I'm just going to hang out here on the floor. No, they get back up. They don't even think about how many times they've fallen. They see the other people walking and they're like, I want that. And they get back up and they get back up. So what do you want? And are you willing to persist? And yes, there's some sacrifice involved. And it could be time. It could be effort. It could be things that you're attached to, right? It could be finances, whatever it is. But the dividends are enormous. Any investment in ourselves, and again, not just talking money, that's one way of investing in ourselves. I invest in my mentors, but investing our time, investing our effort, investing our finances pays in dividends. I have never regretted any investment I've made in myself. Even the ones I didn't do, honestly, even the ones I bought a program and I didn't do it, I learned from that. And I learned from what resonated with me and what worked for me, which is number 4, where are you out of alignment? What is your deeper truth? What is your intuition? What is in alignment? My mentors have always said, the only question we should ask ourselves is this something I want to be, do, or have? Will this expand me? Will this get me closer to my vision, closer to my goals? And then you find a way, no matter what. Where in your life are you not living in alignment, living out somebody else's dream or or you've given up and settled? You have got this. You have got this. I know I went a little longer than usual today, but I am fired up on this topic and I hope that you've enjoyed it. You have got this. The formula is in you. It's in you. So let's rise together. This is why I do what I do, because every one of you that gets your health, your wealth, your alignment, your joy, you go out and you make the world a better place. You light up inside like a candle. One candle brings lightness to a room, and then another candle, more light. My kids do a spiral walk as part of their Waldorf school. Well, my son's now in high school this year, but he was in Waldorf from preschool through grade 8, and they do this spiral walk in the winter, and we're in a dark room, and they're singing, and then the first kid walks the spiral to the center and lights the candle, and then puts their candle down, and then every kid after that, and the whole room is illuminated by the end. It is so beautiful. It is one of my favorite ceremonies. It is one of the most beautiful things. And that to me is you. If you're not in joy, you're not bringing your light to the world, and you all have a purpose and you all have a light to bring. I promise you. And you know this. We know truth when we hear it. You know this deep inside. Oh, I almost want to cry. You know this deep inside that you have a purpose and you have a light to bring to the world. I don't care if it's to one person or 10 people or 1,000 or 1,000,000. You have a purpose, you have a light. So let's rise together. A rising tide lifts all ships. That is why I get on here, and I'm so honored for those of you that listen, because I know when you get your joy, that spark gets lit. You get your health, that spark gets lit. You get in a career that's fulfilling, that spark gets lit, and the world gets lit by you. And then the next person and the next person, and we make the world a brighter, better place. So thank you so much for listening. If this episode lit a spark for you, and I hope that it did, share it with someone that needs to hear this. Share it with someone that needs to hear this. There's so many of us suffering. We don't have to suffer, and let's not suffer alone. Let's gather our community. Let's gather our guides, our mentors, our inner strength, and rise up. Keep showing up for the life that you want to create. All right. So thank you so much. See you next time on UPLEVEL, Real Health, Real Talk. So honored for you joining me today, for listening. I hope you're inspired. I hope you're lit up. I hope you share this. Leave us a rating. Leave us a review. Message us on social media so I can hear the impact that this had. And I look forward to hearing what you make of this. Thanks so much. See you next time. Thank you for joining me on this episode of UPLEVEL, Real Health, Real Talk. I hope today's conversation inspired you to take the next step in your health journey, one that nourishes not just your body, but your mind and spirit as well. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you found value in today's episode, please leave a review. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep thriving. And remember, true wellness is a journey, and you are on the right path.